Hello, everybody. And this is my new super cool and very super unique line of Neos. These guys are called Little Red Riding Hoods. Now, I've had this tank going for about 3 months now, and our first batches of babies are getting to be about 2 months old. And we're at the point now where we need to start thinking about calling. So we're going to do our very first call, the Little Red Riding Hoods. It'll be super cool and super interesting to see just what these little guys throw. This was the first tank that I had shrimp in on the new rack. So let's see what we got going on in this tank. Of course, we got our long fin green dragon pleco buddies. We got shrimp back here. We got some of that pogo stemming. That's where I've been propagating it for another tank. And we got a whole bunch of moss. So, like we do, we're going to pull all the moss out so we can see the shrimp. And then we'll isolate the bad ones from the good ones. Remove the bad ones. I can't wait to see what's in here. See what all we got. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is I have a bucket on the floor over here. I'm going to use this hose right here. Suck it up so when we pull out the moss, if there's any baby shrimp in the moss, we can pick the baby shrimp out of the moss later. So we got our bucket with water. Time to start pulling out this moss. Now this moss in this tank isn't weighted down or anything. So this will be, we'll just pluck it up and rip it out. Now this is going to be when you're breeding shrimp for profit, like I am. The most important thing is to have good shrimp. So when you get a new line of shrimp, what you're trying to do, well, the most important thing when you get new shrimp is to get where you start off at is so important. Get the best shrimp that you can, preferably from a reliable home breeder. Then you don't have to worry about diseases and stuff like that that a lot of your imported shrimp are going to be from your. But the thing that's most important, after you get your high quality new shrimp, the next important thing is when you first start off, you want to be really strict to calling. And so that's what I'm doing here today, because I want to breed these out to be thousands and thousands of shrimp. This is my starting group. This is the group I started with. I started with 20, I think about 3 months ago, and they are all still real young when they come in. So it took them a while. It took them about a month to get breeding. Then they started breeding. We did lose some of the originals. There's a lot in here. There's even more in here than I thought, so that's good. It's super good. Alright. Now we want to get all these little, in a big tank that's well established. I feel like this tank is just now hitting the point of where I can call it established. Where I don't worry if I put a little bit of extra food in there, I don't worry too much. Yeah, there's a lot of little ones too. So what I like to call shrimp when you're in this situation, ideal, I would say, is a cull shrimp when you got to give them enough time to develop their color. But you want to get them, especially the males, you want to get them before the bad males start breeding. So I was going to see if we could get a count here, but this is about to the point of having too many to count. So that's really good. I would have guessed about 70 before we started, but it looks like we might have more than that.
Check it out. Check it out.
So the ones I pick out of here, I'm going to be putting here in the specimen container, and then they will end up in the Skittles tank. Oh man, so many shrimp in here. Way more than I thought. Alright, this looks like the first victim of the cull net. Hello, man. Here we go. This one don't look like it has any color on it. Yeah, there's a little bit of red on his cheek on the one side. We want to make sure they're big enough that we can get a good read on them. We don't want to I'll go ahead and pull this big buried original one that developed a spot on its side if I can catch it. Come on. Man, you're a hard one, girl. Alright. I know I saw one that was really bad back here. We saw that one. I think that's right. Oh, it just jumped behind the hump. So, like I always say, this is an ongoing process. I just wanted I let them breed out some before I cull. And now we've got some breeding out going on. Now it's cull time. Yay, man, hey, Christmas. That one was really hard to catch. Alright, so I'm just going to go through here and pick out. Here's one that don't have any red, I don't think. There's a little tiny bit. Go. So just keep on at it, and I'll check back in and show you what we look like when we're done. Alright, so I've been going here and checking it and had some errands to run and come back. And these have been in here pretty much all afternoon long. And it's hard. There's some littler ones that are borderline. And then I think these are all the decent sized ones that I got out. And then some of the smaller ones, because these are it's just now the oldest babies. The first ones born in here are just now getting buried. The great big ones are the OGs, still kicking it. I did lose a handful of these, seemingly unknowingly why, but that's to be expected with new shrimp. But with this being such a unique line, I wasn't sure of it being a real thing. And Laura's like, oh no, she said like 80%. Like, man, out of the ones that were big enough to pull out. I mean, I did pull a handful of really small ones that were clearly bad, but these are awesome. Like this was the line I was most excited about getting. So on this rack, my new rack of tanks, I put this one here so I have access so I can see the whole tank. Be nice and focus. But man, I gotta say I'm impressed. I can't wait to see what happens in this tank in a couple more months. I've already had like 10 of you guys ask me, when are those going to be available? Well, I'm probably not going to even think about selling any till May. But if things keep going the way they are, of course. So that's no guarantee. But if things keep going as they look. And then, of course, I still have my top shelf. I wanted to get them tanks before the Petco sale ended, but I just didn't get around to doing that. I've been doing a bunch of other things, trying to get all my tanks in order because I have big plans for outside this summer. And while it's winter, you got to get all this inside, everything caught up. So that's what you'll be seeing a lot of here. Those are the new tanks. So these are by far the first ones to start breeding out. And so we got a lot. And here the yellows, there's probably more yellows because every single female was buried, had babies, got buried again, had babies, and most of them are buried again for the third time. And the first ones born are getting close to being breeding age. So that will probably be the next one of these new tanks we got to go over. And Algae likes this tank for some reason. And these guys, like with black roses, I've had black roses before, so I know what to expect. I'm probably going to start pulling these out. And with these guys are not safe to be put with my general shrimp populations yet. There's still some weird stuff going on in their tank. And I think they have Scuterella still. I did the Prozzy Pro round with them because that's a lot easier than fenbendazole, I should say. No, that's a lot easier than fenbendazole. So I was hoping Prozzy Pro would knock it out. I might do another round. Got rid of most of that stuff right there. So that's the progress of the new tanks real quick. Little Red Riding Hood. You sure are looking good. If I'm the big bad wolf, then they're everything I could want. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.